The sun hung high over the late Cretaceous landscape, casting long shadows over the rugged terrain. A small herd of Tenontosaurus, a herbivorous dinosaur known for its long, slender body and relatively large size, was grazing peacefully in a secluded valley. Their broad, muscular bodies were well adapted to navigating the dense vegetation, and they moved in unison, their eyes constantly scanning the surroundings for danger. The Tenontosaurus was not a fast runner, but it was a powerful one, with long limbs and a tough hide to defend against predators. Among the herd, one particular Tenontosaurus stood apart. It was an older individual, slightly slower than the rest of the group, and its once vibrant scales were now weathered by years of survival. As the others moved on, the old dinosaur lingered behind, grazing lazily on the low-growing plants, unaware of the danger lurking nearby. Hidden in the shadows of the forest, a predator watched the herd. Deinonychus, a swift, bird-like predator with long claws and sharp teeth, had been tracking the Tenontosaurus for hours. The Deinonychus was a member of a highly intelligent and cooperative hunting species, but today, it was on its own. This predator was known for its lightning-fast speed and unparalleled agility, making it a terror to even larger dinosaurs. But hunting alone was no easy task, especially when your prey was as large and strong as the Tenontosaurus. The Deinonychus crouched low in the underbrush, blending into the foliage. Its eyes remained fixed on the straggler, the older Tenontosaurus, which had drifted too far from the safety of the herd. The air was thick with the sounds of chirping insects and rustling leaves, but the tension was palpable. The predator's heart raced with anticipation. It would have only one chance to strike. In a sudden blur of motion, the Deinonychus sprang into action. With its powerful hind legs, it leaped out from the shadows and dashed toward the unsuspecting herbivore. The Tenontosaurus's head jerked up, its eyes wide with alarm, but by the time it realized the threat, the Deinonychus was already upon it. The Tenontosaurus let out a sharp, panicked cry and began running, its large legs pumping hard to propel its heavy body away from the predator. But the Deinonychus was faster. It darted in and out of the trees, closing the gap with terrifying speed. Despite its larger size, the Tenontosaurus was no match for the agile hunter. Every time it veered to one side, trying to confuse the predator, the Deinonychus matched it, cutting off every escape route. The chase tore through the dense undergrowth, branches snapping and dirt flying as the two dinosaurs raced across the valley. The Tenontosaurus, now desperate, kicked up the earth with every stride, trying to shake off its relentless pursuer. But the Deinonychus was tenacious, its lean body built for speed, and its curved claws were ready to strike. The Tenontosaurus turned sharply, heading for a narrow pass between two large boulders. The Deinonychus followed, but the larger herbivore had an advantage in this tight space, its wide body making it harder for the predator to follow closely. For a moment, the Deinonychus hesitated, calculating its next move. The older Tenontosaurus used this brief respite to catch its breath, though it was still terrified and exhausted from the relentless pursuit. But then, the Deinonychus made a quick decision. With a sudden burst of speed, the predator changed direction and bounded up the side of a small hill. It used the terrain to its advantage, positioning itself above the Tenontosaurus, who was now trapped between the rocks and the steep incline. The Tenontosaurus, realizing it had nowhere to run, turned to face its attacker, lowering its head to protect its vulnerable neck. Its tail swished nervously, and its powerful limbs began to tremble, but it was ready to defend itself. The Deinonychus paused for a moment, observing its prey. It had to be careful, this was no easy kill. The Tenontosaurus was strong, with thick hide and powerful legs capable of delivering a crushing blow. But the Deinonychus had its own advantages. It was fast, precise, and relentless. With a roar, the Deinonychus leaped down the hill, aiming directly for the Tenontosaurus's flank. The herbivore swung its head and thrust its horns toward the attacker, but the Deinonychus was faster. It dodged the horns and landed on the Tenontosaurus's back, its claws sinking into the tough hide. The Tenontosaurus bucked wildly, trying to shake off the predator, but the Deinonychus clung to its prey with its powerful claws. The herbivore twisted and turned, trying to land a blow with its heavy tail, but the smaller predator was too quick. With one final, calculated strike, the Deinonychus lunged for the Tenontosaurus's neck, its sharp teeth sinking into the soft flesh beneath the thick skin. The Tenontosaurus let out a final, pitiful cry as it collapsed to the ground, its legs buckling beneath it. The Deinonychus stood over its fallen prey, chest heaving, victorious in the chase. It had outpaced its larger adversary, outsmarted it, and delivered the killing blow. As the prey's final breaths faded, the predator stepped back, its hunt complete. The Deinonychus, though exhausted from the chase, knew the kill was just the beginning. Its pack would soon arrive, and they would feast together on the spoils of this long and deadly pursuit.